So welcome back to the Seek a Strength YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about how to lift more weights in the 21.4 CrossFit Open. So this event is a deadlift followed by a clean, followed by a hang clean, followed by a jerk, or I think it might just be a shoulder to overhead. As far as I know, the movement standards dictate you can't leave go of the bar in between any reps. And what myself and Owen are going to talk about today is some quick tips or some kind of general processes that you're going to use to be able to lift more weights in this event. The first thing to talk about is the deadlift. There's a lot of faults people have with their deadlift, and it's definitely faults they'll have if their deadlift is part of a complex or part of a longer workout. The main thing I would say is that when you're doing your deadlifts in your setup, don't get tired by doing something stupid. So we see a lot of different types of deadlifts. We see people with different grip widths. Just use your normal deadlift. Don't make it into a clean pull. Don't do anything like that. Save your energy from the deadlift.
So one of the most important things you can do with the technique of this lift from the very get-go is make sure you set your back in the appropriate position. So you keep your back tight. Think about your back as an isometric muscle, so it's not in any form of movement or flexion. So you need to get that tight just before you start any of the lifts. So before you do the deadlift, it needs to be tight. Keep it tight throughout the deadlift. Don't let it lax to the deadlift. It's probably a pretty easy deadlift for you if you can do a clean, hang clean and jerk with it, but don't take it for granted. You don't want to ingrain that feeling of a loose back for the rest of the lifts, because it's very important for the clean and especially the hang clean. So but when you do the deadlift, make sure it's tight for the whole deadlift on the way down and on the way up, obviously. Then make sure before you go into the clean that your back is still tight. And then very importantly, when you're re-racking, you're still tight as possible. So maintain that back as much as you can throughout the whole lift, and it'll make the clean or the hang clean a lot easier.
The next thing then is don't lose your hook grip. So because this is a deadlift followed by a clean, followed by a hang clean, a lot of people will feel that they've a restricted front rack and that they'll want to leave go and go to fingertips on the clean and the hang clean. Almost nobody is so restricted that they can't maintain full grip of the bar in the front squat position. So if you feel like you're super restricted, go and work on your mobility before the session. But if you want to maximize the weights you're lifting, you don't want to have to drop the bar down to your hip and then kind of reset and grab your hook grip again. For the sake of this complex and lifting the most weight possible, hold on to your hook grip, drop the bar down again, hold on to your hook grip, drop the bar down again.
When you're going into the hang clean, what you would normally do is, in a hang clean scenario, we send our hips backwards to load up our hamstrings a little bit more and keep our shoulder angle in front of the bar and have our back covering our knees in the bar. So this mimics the position of a normal clean better, and it transfers over better. However, if we're looking to maximize our hang clean and not have it transfer over as much, but we're looking for a heavier hang clean, instead of sending your hips back, I want you to send your hips straight down and your knees will travel forward, and this will load up your quads a lot better and allow for a lot better of a lift. And it's a kind of a fake position for a normal clean, which you wouldn't be able to get into, but it does make for a stronger hang clean and you can use your legs a lot better. So hips go down, quads go forward, not hips back and load hamstrings. So that's not what you want to do.
Another thing CrossFitters and kind of weightlifters as a whole get wrong in hang cleans is that they will drop down, allow the bar to swing way out in front, then they'll drive their hips into the bar and the bar will loop out in a semicircle. This obviously comes from a setup flaw, but don't allow the bar to drift away from your quads and then bring it in and smash the bar with your hips. This is going to make your hang clean an awful lot less efficient.
If you're going to do powers or cleans, pick one of those and do that for both of those lifts. So don't think I'll power the clean and then I'll have saved my legs for a hang clean. In reality, this is kind of has like 2 or 3 different negatives to it. So if you power clean first and then go to do a hang clean, you're losing what's kind of a psychological aspect of some lifting, where some lifters, you'll see them start really low down in a squat, and this helps the psychology and also kind of the muscle memory of going from a squat to a squat. So think about this in the same way as you would when you're going from a clean to the hang clean. Do a full clean if you're going to do a full clean, and then do a full hang clean if you're going to do a full hang clean. So make sure that they're both full depth lifts, so neither powers. So what would happen as well, if you do a power clean then a full depth hang clean, is realistically for the power clean, you're actually less efficient at power cleans. You'll expend more energy. Probably isn't going to be very pretty power clean if you've just done the workout beforehand. So make sure you're doing a full depth squat clean, or full clean as we call it in weightlifting, and then go straight into a full hang clean. So don't do power or at full. So make sure that they're both the same thing. If you are going to do powers and for some reason you're not able to do as heavy full lifts as you are with your powers, do both of those powers. So do power clean and then a hang power clean as well. So don't chop and change.
When you move on to the jerk, then the main fault we see with people's jerks, particularly people who might be jerking relatively heavy weights but they're not doing it really regularly, is that they'll wait in the top for a long time. So after they've done their deadlift, their clean, their hang clean, they'll set themselves here and they'll wait for a long time. They might take 2 or 3 breaths. They might start oscillating the bar. When you're warming up and when you're doing all your practice reps, and especially when you're doing your heaviest rep, make sure this period here, so after I stand up with my hang clean, is going to be very sharp, very efficient. All I'm doing is getting myself organized. So I'll make sure my grip is correct. That might be leaving go of my hook grip. That might be adjusting my grip outwards. Then I'm going to take my breath, brace, and I'll dip and drive aggressively. Don't spend too much time standing around waiting here to figure out what you're going to do next.
Lastly, and this is so important, put on your fucking weightlifting shoes. You have a minute rest between the workout. What you should do, don't sit down between that minute rest for weightlifting. Move around, let a little bit of the recovery happen, and in that time, just put on your weightlifting shoes. You're not Rich Froning. Rich Froning's not even better in his weightlifting shoes, or Rich Froning's not even better in his nanos as much as he'd like to think he is. Nobody's better at weightlifting in their nanos. Nobody. So I encourage you, please put on your weightlifting shoes. This will make a huge difference to your lifting. It'll make a big difference to your lifting anyway, but the fact that you're under a lot of fatigue means it's even more important that you're able to maintain better positions. It'll maintain better positions in the clean and in the hang clean, especially if you're reaching depth, and in the jerk. So please put on your weightlifting shoes. That's probably one of the most important things you can do for this. And I know a lot of people will think that it's better, it's kind of cooler to be doing your lifts in your CrossFit shoes, your nanos, your metcons. Fuck them. Take them off and put on your weightlifting shoes.